In a crowded city, an elderly man winces in pain after being bitten on the neck. A passerby notices and almost steps in to assist, but as he draws nearer, the foul stench coming from the old man makes him pull back. Believing the man to be nothing more than a destitute vagabond, he walks away. The old man then staggers toward a group of other homeless people, collapsing beside them. His suffering goes unnoticed, as if no one cares. The focus shifts to a young woman named Hai-san, who wakes up from her sleep. She reaches for her phone and tries calling her boyfriend, but he doesn't pick up. Leaving her small rented room, she runs into her landlady, who reminds her about the rent payment. Hai-san assures her it will be settled that night, then heads out, determined to find her boyfriend. Meanwhile, the old man is approached by another homeless figure. An acquaintance we'll call John, since the movie never names him. Seeing his friend in distress, John notices the bite wound and decides to seek help. He goes to a local clinic and pleads with a female staff member. She tells him that every room is already occupied, but promises to make space by releasing someone who has recovered. Together, they approach one of the patients and the staff begins the discharge process. However, once she leaves, the discharged man grows irritated at John, accusing him of causing trouble. John insists he only wants a doctor to check on his injured friend, but the man dismisses him harshly and orders him to go. At the same time, Ki-woong, Hai-san's boyfriend, sits at an internet cafe. When Hai-san arrives, she is shocked to discover that he is creating an escort advertisement with her name on it. Outraged, she demands he stop. Ki-woong argues that it's the only way to cover their rent, but Hai-san refuses, insisting she no longer wants that life. She reminds him that he once promised to get a proper job. Standing firm, she rejects his plan outright. In anger, Ki-woong throws her past in her face, reminding her that she once ran away from home and lived on the streets until he took her in. After the heated exchange, he storms off, saying he wants to end their relationship. Switch to a man named Sukyu. He receives a call from his friend, who says he found a girl on the internet who is Hai-san. After hearing that, Sukyu checks the internet and sees the escort ad. He decides to find the person who posts the ad, Ki-woong. Sukyu then arranges to meet Ki-woong. When Ki-woong comes to meet Sukyu, Sukyu suddenly attacks him, making Ki-woong ask who he is. Sukyu replies that he is Hai-san's father. Back to John, who now asks for help from a train station staff member, but the staff member refuses, saying the station is already closed. Then John goes to a pharmacy just before it closes. Fortunately, the pharmacist still helps him. He buys painkillers and an energy drink. After buying them, he rushes back to the old man, but finds the old man already motionless, and finally, he dies. There are strange veins spreading around his head. Seeing this, John cries and goes to the train station office. After telling the staff that the old man is dead, the staff goes with him, but the body is gone. This angers them, and John gets confused. He searches for the old man, and in an alley, he finds him, now a zombie, eating a person. The zombie old man then runs toward John and attacks him. Meanwhile, Hai-san gets a call from her boyfriend, but she refuses to answer and turns off her phone. After failing to reach her, Ki-woong figures she must go back to their place. When they arrive at the building, they hear screaming from another unit. After confirming Hai-san hasn't returned yet, a man is suddenly thrown out from another room, badly injured. He gets attacked by the landlady, who is now a zombie, and tries to attack Sukyu. Sukyu locks the door and looks for a weapon. Ki-woong, curious after hearing banging noises, opens the door and gets attacked by the zombie. Sukyu saves him by hitting the zombie until it dies. Soon after, a man who was bitten earlier turns into a zombie and charges at them. Sukyu hits him, and they hide in the bathroom. Switch to Hai-san, who walks in an underground tunnel. She sees people running from zombies. A homeless man named Andy tells her to run. They get chased and run out of the tunnel. At one point, Hai-san slips down the stairs while zombies jump at her. Luckily, she survives. They keep running until they reach a police station. They ask the police for help, but soon zombies break in through the glass doors and attack everyone. Hai-san and the others escape into a prison cell. She notices a wounded policeman bitten by a zombie. Now they are trapped. Meanwhile, Sukyu looks for an escape route and finds a pipe. He tells Ki-woong to climb it with him. After reaching the roof, they see zombies everywhere. Ki-woong tries to call Hai-san, but he drops his phone. Sukyu then tells him to distract the zombies by going into an alley, while he'll get his car and meet him on the main road. Ki-woong runs toward the alley. Along the way, he meets a drunk man who yells, attracting zombies. Ki-woong runs, and Suk-yu, seeing this, rushes to his car while being chased. He finally gets in and drives to the main road. Ki-woong, now there, encounters a female zombie running toward him, but she gets hit by Suk-yu's car, and Suk-yu tells him to get in. Back at the police station, one wounded officer turns into a zombie and runs toward the jail cell, seen by another officer. As the wounded officer weakens, and he tries to grab his gun, but the cop suddenly moves back, only to get pulled by a zombie colleague. The police shoot the zombie in the head. The policeman then goes mad and shoots at Hae-sun and the others. Andy tackles him and knocks him out. He takes the pistol, which only has 2 bullets left. Suddenly, the cop wakes up, now a zombie, and bites another man. Andy headshots the zombie again. Soon after, more police officers arrive at the station. Zombies see them and rush toward them. Andy and Hae-sun escape through the back. Hae-sun grabs her phone. Suddenly, a male zombie tries to attack her from behind, but Andy shoots him in the head. They escape through the back door. After escaping, they meet medical staff and get into an ambulance. On the way, Hae-sun finally calls Ki-woong. Ki-woong says his father is looking for her everywhere, and he is with him. Hae-sun also informs him that she is in an ambulance and on the way to the hospital. After the call, Andy gets information from a medical officer that they have received hundreds of calls about people being bitten. Andy immediately asks where those bite victims are now. It is answered that they are gathered in the emergency room. Knowing that, Andy tells him to stop the car because those people will turn into zombies, but the officer thinks Andy is just panicking. Out of panic, Andy directly goes to the driver and forces him to stop the car, which causes the vehicle to swerve and crash. Andy and Hae-sun eventually manage to get out of the ambulance. Next, they go to the underground train station tunnel. Upon arriving in the tunnel, Hae-sun receives a notification that her phone has no signal. Meanwhile, Suk-yu and Ki-woong have arrived at the hospital. Suk-yu feels the hospital is too quiet. He tries to check inside the hospital while Ki-woong stays in the car. Inside the hospital, Suk-yu takes an iron rod and discovers that many zombies are already there. Suddenly, a zombie sees Suk-yu from behind, which makes him get noticed. Meanwhile, Ki-woong sees a zombie walking outside the hospital. Ki-woong makes a sound, which causes the zombie to notice him. Fortunately, the zombie fails to reach Ki-woong and is immediately hit by Suk-yu. They both escape from the hospital. During the search, Suk-yu says they should try looking for Hae-sun from the flyover. After arriving at the flyover, they see a group of police who have already prepared to lock down the zombie-infected area. Back to Hae-sun and Andy, who keep walking on the subway train tracks. They see one station already filled with zombies. They keep walking and finally get out of the tunnel. Hae-sun immediately calls Ki-woong and informs him of her current location. Not long after, they get spotted by zombies in front of them, forcing them to run. They keep running and see some people calling out to Hae-sun and Andy, asking them to head to their shelter. After they successfully enter the shelter, people are seen pushing back the zombies who try to climb into the shelter. There, Hae-sun and Andy see people protesting to get out of the lockdown area, which is blocked by the police using buses. A man is seen trying to climb the bus, but gets sprayed with a water cannon. Ki-woong, who has already learned of Hae-sun's location, immediately informs Suk-yu, and they rush over. However, their path is blocked by the police, who have sealed the road. They plead with the police to let them through, but the police commander says that the situation is an emergency and the country will soon declare national emergency status. Meanwhile, people keep pushing back the zombies until one person gets bitten on the hand and falls. The person assures his friends that the bite is small and just a scratch. Ki-woong and Suk-yu, who can't do anything, then see a convoy of military vehicles arriving behind them. It is the army. Seeing that, Ki-woong asks the police commander why the military has arrived. He answers that the army has taken over the lockdown operation. In the crowd, a man stops the protesters. He says that he doesn't deserve to die because he has dedicated his life to the country. Hearing that, Andy approaches him and says something similar. Because he wants to survive, he climbs onto the bus and is immediately shot by a soldier. Before his final breath, Andy says that if he could choose, he wouldn't have chosen to be left behind at Seoul Station. The soldiers then throw tear gas, causing people to run in panic. Meanwhile, the man who has been bitten on the hand turns into a zombie and attacks his friend. Only one man remains alive, and he sees the zombies running toward him. He quickly runs and grabs an iron fence. He sees a balcony that he can use to escape. He uses the iron fence to hang onto a power pole cable. Hae-sun, who sees the man hanging, also wants to follow him. The man reaches the balcony, but Hai-sun is still struggling to get there, with zombies crowding below her. At one point, her leg gets scratched by a zombie. Seeing Hai-sun struggling, the man helps her grab the power cable again, but suddenly his leg gets grabbed by a zombie, and finally, he dies. Hai-sun finally reaches the balcony and enters a building. There, she meets several zombies, which makes her immediately run toward the rooftop. She bravely jumps down and walks slowly on metal beams while being chased by zombies who jump after her. Eventually, one zombie manages to slightly scratch her back, causing her to fall onto another balcony. Hai-sun arrives at a luxurious apartment and notices there are no zombies inside. She receives a call from Ki-woong, as she immediately tells him that she is now in a luxury apartment. While Hai-sun is resting, Ki-woong appears and wakes her up, asking her to go home. When they meet Suk-yu, Hai-sun realizes that he isn't her father, but the man who acted as a father to all the prostitutes who worked for him, including Hai-sun. Knowing that, Ki-woong tries to protect Hai-sun, but Suk-yu knocks him down and starts kicking him. Hai-sun begs to go home, but Suk-yu refuses because she still has to pay off her debts. When Suk-yu grabs Hai-sun's hair, Ki-woong sees a knife and tries to stab him, but his attempt fails. Then Ki-woong's neck is slashed, and finally he dies. Seeing that, Hai-sun panics and runs. Suk-yu searches the big apartment while continuing to look for Hai-sun, who is hiding. Eventually, he sees her footprints. While searching, Suk-yu tells a story. After Hai-sun ran away, he came to her house to collect her debt. He found her sick father there and told him that Hai-sun had escaped with his money. So, her father had to take responsibility for her debt. Her father asked Suk-yu to return in a week, but after waiting a week, her father had also run away. After finishing his story and opening a cabinet, Hai-sun appears from behind and tries to hit Suk-yu with a statue. But her attempt fails, and Suk-yu kicks her. He then brings her to her room and is about to do a mushy thing. But suddenly, he realizes that Hai-sun has died. He sees her leg was scratched by a zombie, which causes her to turn into one. Hai-sun's zombie teeth are seen shaking. Then she attacks Suk-yu, and finally, he dies. The movie ends at the lockdown site, where soldiers are still shooting at zombies. Finally, the sun rises and shines over Seoul. At that moment, a woman who has been bitten on a leg is seen heading to Seoul Station, starting to threaten the people inside the train going to Busan. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification so you don't miss the latest recaps.